Hello everyone, welcome to episode 6 of the MotoGP 17 Managerial Career Mode with the TIJ Racing team. And I'd just like to say a quick apology before we start for the lack of a video on Thursday. Now, I've just been up to just other things really this week because obviously I've got exams after this half term, which start about 4 weeks after I go back, and I've had a lot of revision homework to do, which makes making recording videos sometimes a bit tricky to do, and also I've got other things to do, and sometimes YouTube isn't the first priority. And just to let you guys know, of course, this is only a hobby. I don't earn anything from it, so it's just a hobby. And that's not to say I don't enjoy it. I obviously do because it's a hobby. But sometimes things get in the way, and that's going to be the way it is probably for the next 4 or 5 weeks while I've got exams and other commitments as well, which I've got. So I can only apologise about that, but let's get straight into today's 2 races. So it's the Sachsenring in Germany and then in Brno after the summer break, but really for you, about 2 seconds. So we'll get straight into the Sachsenring GP. Now, it's quite a short track. Well, I don't really think there's much more to say about it, to be honest. I've decided we're not going to, actually, I don't know what's going on with my controller here. It likes to mess up like this, but I don't think we're going to develop the car this year, the bike, anymore, because I want to save up funds to be able to go into Moto 2 next year, maybe have a bit more of a developed car in Moto 3 next year. I don't really know how it works in terms of prize money, etc. at the end of the season. This is only my first season officially in managerial career mode in MotoGP. So you'll have to wait and see, we'll have to wait and see, if you like, to see what happens, and I guess that's all we'll have to wait and see. We're going to have to play the waiting game, unfortunately, and just see if we've got the option to upgrade to Moto 2 next year, because obviously we've only got limited time on this series. If it's coming out 3 days a week, then obviously we're not going to be able to get to the likes of Season 6, Season 7. But what I would like to do is, by the time we finish this series, is to have had at least 1 year in MotoGP. Whether that be that you guys don't mind the new games out and we continue this past the release of MotoGP 18 or not, is a question that you guys will have to answer for me, because I'm more than happy to do so. I certainly won't be doing MotoGP 18 content until at least sort of maybe September, October, because I certainly won't be getting the game released, because simply put, I haven't really got the money to be getting games like MotoGP 18, which A, I'm not going to have the time to play for exams, and B, I haven't really got much of an appetite for, you know, with sort of £40-50 that you've got to pay. The only real games I'm not reluctant to pay for, if you like, at the time is the likes of FIFA, well, not necessarily FIFA anymore, actually, Football Manager and F1, really, they're my 2 games every year that I kind of budget to buy. And really, I don't have a job or anything. This is my only hobby, really. So, 60-70 quid is what the cost is for the 2 games. And would I really want to add 40 quid onto that? Or would I rather be a bit, you know, what's the word, frugal, if you like, and get the game for Christmas? But anyway, that's me talking a lot of rubbish and a lot of non-motorbike nonsense. But we are ready, and we are go for the German Grand Prix. Of course, marks the halfway of the season here in Moto 3. We've had a really good start. Can we replicate the heights of Mugello? We can't keep looking back at that race though, because last time out in Assen we were like, oh, we're really good around Assen, so let's try and look back at Mugello and see if we can go on better. And then when we couldn't do that, we pushed too hard, went off the bike, and we finished outside of the points in the end. So we've got to be getting consistency more than you know, that one result was very much, it was a shock to us, it was a shock to all of us, the fact that we can get from last to second. But we've got to kind of look past that now. You know, we've done that and it was a bit of a fluke, and we're going to have to get used to a bit more consistency rather than getting one result, you know, and building up points over time. I think that's what we've got to start doing in this series. So we are about midway through the first lap. We've made 9 positions up. It is quite a short lap round here at the Sachsenring, so we haven't got much time to overtake, if that makes sense, in terms of track time to be making these moves. So we've got to be making these moves pretty quickly, but this is a track that you can fall off quite easily. I remember I've done it a lot of times. And since we're not really using rewind this season, I think we've only used 1 in the whole 9 races so far, which is pretty impressive, actually. We don't want to fall off at the first instance, that's the most important thing. But we are up to 22nd, we could be making more positions now, and that's the phone, brilliant. Apologies for that interruption, guys, the phone went off, not really much I could do about it, but we are back into the race. I did skip a few seconds, because I did come back into it, and then the phone, I think, went off again, so I had to come back to it. And really, whenever I try and record these, you know, it's about 8:45 now, my parents have both gone out, so I thought, you know, this is a good opportunity for me to start recording a few videos, you know, get a bit of video recording done as well as a bit of schoolwork, which will massively help towards the massive homework which I've left till this weekend before I go back to school on Monday after the Easter holiday. It's not actually school, it's sick form, but yeah, it's still school. or college, if you like, I suppose, but it is sixth form attached to my high school. But then again, I never thought I'd be saying stuff about my education on a MotoGP video, because it's got absolutely bugger all, to be blunt, to do with motorbikes. But we are still in 21st, not really made the best of starts. Maybe we were compromised a little bit by that little interruption at a corner where we gain a lot of time, really, and we can gain a lot of positions. But we are still in 21st. That's not a terrible position. I'm sure we're ahead of our teammate Leo Ward. But the most important thing, actually, is that we haven't gone off, because in the last race we did crash. So I think that's one objective that we've got to meet, not to crash in this episode. Because I think we've only done one episode where we haven't crashed. I think that was the Le Mans and Mugello episode. And that was just a complete fluke. But we got past Kornfeld just off having a really good line, to be honest, and getting a little bit more momentum through that corner. But we've come up to the left-hander now, and it's a bit of a tricky one, actually, because it's uphill, so you've got to maintain your speed through here. And it's definitely trickier than it looks. We've had a good run off that corner, 129.9, let's just say that lap was. And Mears took the lead from Canet, and I swear to God, those two are battling for the lead every single race. But we're up the inside of Sasaki. I know it's a long way back, but we can always make moves work on this bike, but not really. We're way too far back. I think we exaggerated just a tad there. But what's looking interesting to me is this big gaggle of bikes coming up now. We need to get past these two, really, to get into the fight. But we're really close to Sasaki. Can we go up the inside? A bit cheeky. We've gone past the side. I've gone up the inside of Suzuki as well. And the next bike, which is our prey, is Brad Binder. Yeah, it is Brad Binder. I thought that sounded weird saying that, but no, it is Brad Binder. And we're now in 18th place. Get a bit of a good run through that corner. Keep the consistency going, keep momentum going, and really try and accelerate where the other bikes are braking, because obviously you gain the most time by doing that. So we brake a little bit early for that, and then put our foot down a bit early, and then hopefully we can gain. We don't really brake here, to be honest. As you can see on the bottom right of the screen, you get my not steering input, sorry, my acceleration and braking inputs. It's probably quite interesting, to be fair. Considering there's no traction control on these bikes, you will notice as soon as we go up the classes that my acceleration input will slightly be a little bit more tentative, but I'm sure it probably won't be, actually. But that's a good run through that corner. I don't think we're going to be able to get points, but we are going to make a dive up the inside, because here we have got nothing to lose. We make it up the inside at this corner. No, it's not going to do anything, unfortunately. We're up to 17th now. Rodrigo's got back past us, and that is only going to be... Is it going to be 18th? Yes, it is. Rodrigo beats us on straight line speed, and we finish where our driver number suggests that we should be, in 18th place. Now, Canet wins that one, and that's a little bit disappointing. Maybe it might be time to start qualifying, but that's the only tricky thing with these episodes, that I haven't really got the time to be spending extra time doing qualifying, and also the video duration doesn't really lend itself to doing qualifying. So for this one, we won't do qualifying. Maybe next season we might start to introduce qualifying, but not for the near future. Makes it a bit of a challenge anyway for us, I suppose. But anyway, without any further ado, I suppose, on to the next race, which is in the Czech Republic. Here we are then at the Czech Republic after the really long summer break I've had to endure. I mean, it's been about 6 weeks since I've played this game. No, seriously, it's been about 2 minutes. But we are here in a much sunnier, I have to say, Brno, at the start of August rather than the start of July, I think, which would... actually, no, is this... Yeah, it is the end of the summer break. I am right. Yeah, it's the start of August compared... Oh. Whoops. That wasn't a rewind. It was me pressing LB for some random reason. But I do quite like this track. A lot longer than the Sachsenring. And there's a lot more of a test of rider ability, I think, round here. And I'd say... I don't know whether I'm right here, but I think it's quite similar to Mugello in that it's quite high speed, which massively is... benefiting us at the moment. As you can see, we've had a lot of positions up off that start, as we usually do, and we're going to make a dive up the inside into this left-hander, and we've had a lot of positions up there. We're already nearly in the points, so we couldn't even bother to be, well, I don't know about bother, but something that we couldn't achieve nowhere near when we were in Sachsenring in Germany in about 2 minutes ago. I keep pressing that left bumper. I keep thinking it's look behind, but that's look behind, but I don't know why I want to keep looking behind anyway, but oh well. But still in 17th, that's Sasaki giving us a bit of trouble on the Honda bike. And getting past Sasaki again. Shoving him out of the way just to tell him, no, you are not getting past again. Oh my lord, there's someone other than Canet and Mia fighting for the lead. It's now Canet and Martin. That's a complete shock to me here. But 16th place, pretty much the middle of the field and the middle of the pack. Up the inside of those three, very good stuff. We could be going for a good result here, but we don't want to be thinking of that too early. But up the inside of Lloyd, brilliant move onto the grass a little bit there. Don't be losing any time. A, in terms of penalties, and B, in terms of going off, anything like that. And here we go then into the right-hander. Can we make any positions here? I don't think we can. Jeez, that's a late break from Loy. That's quite impressive, but I think he breaks too late, which means that, well, he got too much speed going into there, hence why we've just slipped right back past him. But that's some very aggressive braking there. And Martin is now down to third. Oh dear, that's not a good corner from us, but we need to get back into shape. Do not go over them curbs, as in the big lifted curbs, because that's just going to send your bike straight off this Czech Republic track. But we're up to 12th. MotoGP race last year was quite an interesting one round here. Well, it was the race, I think, where it was either dry and it went to wet, and Marquez was the only one who went on to wet, or it was the other way around. But something like that. But there's been more politics, of course, in MotoGP this week, with the rest of the riders gathering around Rossi, you know, to say how they agree that Marquez is ruining the sport and all this. And oh god, it's all going a bit dramatic. But luckily the F1 hasn't got the politics this year. They're actually, as I'm just recording this, well, nothing more will happen when this comes out. But it's the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend. I got up at 5:45 this morning. I went to bed about 10, and I'm not exactly the most rosy I've ever been. But I woke up about 5:45 this morning, and I watched that, and Martin's off. Martin Clunes, or Martin, oh god. Martin Fowler from EastEnders, Martin Clunes, Martin Brundle, of course, Martin Brundle, Martin... You probably all shouting to me now. Can't think of any more Martins. The House Martins, that's not really a Martin though, is it? Right, anyway. Jesus Christ, Loy. He's coming through the field with us. Apologies for that stature of the Lord's name in vain there. But we're up to 10th again. Lloyd is trying to look behind him, and he's not going to be looking behind him any longer, because he can see he's right at my backside now rather than in front of me, which is hilarious. But we're up to 9th, and really that's seeming to be where we're going to stay. But McPhee's just ahead of us, so hopefully we can get past him, go into this right-hander with the sponsorship on the left-hand side of Tissot, Dunlop, and somebody else. Dunlop again, a big sponsor it seems in the MotoGP, a little bit like the British Touring Cars, which it actually does sponsor as a title sponsor. I don't know why I've gone into the talk of talking about sponsors, but there we go. Michelin, of course, and Alpine Stars, our very own sponsor, just above our bottom. Actually, it's Jones that's just above our bottom, but there we go. Not a very good line again, actually, into there. I don't quite think the bike's particularly aligned for that corner, but then again, you're not going to have a perfect bike for any corner. But we are getting a little bit, I feel, on John McPhee. Bit of a longer track here, though, so the laps are a lot longer, but we're certainly way into that points position. I'd like to see Ward get his first points before the end of the year, of course. With us doing so well. Leo Ward still hasn't scored any points yet, and we're paying him quite, well, not quite a hefty amount, but we're still paying him regardless, and if he's not scoring any points at all, that's a bit rubbish. But we're just behind McPhee, 2.5 tenths to be specific. Well, 2 tenths and 800ths if you want to be really specific, but I'm sure that gap's gone down just a tad now. He's behind us. Beautiful break into that first corner. We take a lot more risk into there, and we are now up to P8. Can we catch these two dices in front and Finati and Migno in the 4th and 5th positions? I somehow doubt it, but anything can happen in Moto3, and although Murray Walker said this is an F1, it doesn't matter because it can still apply to Moto3. It usually does, but it looks like it's a free bike tussle for third, because Finati just took third. He was in 5th, Jesus Christ. He was just in 5th and he's got up to 3rd. But Antonelli and Bastianini fighting for 6th. I can't believe I said that. Oh dear, right. And we're battling then for 6th as we try to catch up to Bastianini and Antonelli. Lawyers fell behind the 9th place man, which is John McPhee, of course. Now I was trying to think who the hell that is, but it is John McPhee. And Finati getting past Oetel, and there are the leaders, you can see, but I don't quite think we're going to catch up to them. The primary objective here is to stay on the bike, because for us, still in our first year of, well, of company, of trade, I suppose, if you like, we really are only expected to finish races rather than finishing the points. It's a little bit like KTM in the MotoGP last year, and manufactured, but at the same time, it was their first in MotoGP. So, whilst they've got experience in the lower formula, it'll be a little bit like us, actually, when we get into MotoGP. I'm sure we'll be way off the pace. We don't really have the pace to catch cars. I've noticed that. Can we actually get this corner right for once? Still not brilliant, but a much better line than we have been taking into there. And can we get an optimum live out of there to catch up to Antonelli and Bastianini a little bit? No, we're pushing a little bit too much now. But there are the leaders quite just ahead, so actually, we weren't too far off in the end. But can we get a good run into that last corner? Bit of a strange line from Antonelli, has to push back in. And we go for a very strange line there, but we're trying to gain on these two. Can we have a last corner dash? Let's see what we can do. Oh, if we'd have tapped Antonelli out the way there, we could have done something. Canet wins the GP, and to be fair, that was quite a good performance from us, all the way from last to 8th place. It could have been 6th, maybe, you could say, in hindsight, all sorts of things. But that's where we're going to leave it, folks, for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Apologies about no video on Thursday again. But we should be back on Tuesday and next Thursday. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.